Hi Scarlett, nice to see that you've submitted these essays. Let's take a look and see what you wrote. The first one is about green energy. Here's what you've said. Experts throughout both the developing and developed world have debated whether the use of green energy will be prevailing or the concerns of energy security thereby will be overwhelming. This essay will discuss both sides using examples from the Chinese government and MIT University to demonstrate points and prove arguments. Okay. On the whole, it's fine, but there are a couple of problems with this paragraph. The first problem is some of the vocabulary. I thought prevailing and overwhelming are inappropriate words here in this context. And grammatically, it just didn't really fit. So, have debated whether the use of green energy, I mean, what are we talking about? We're talking about if it's beneficial, so not prevailing, okay? You're looking for a synonym that implies some sort of advantage, so maybe the use of green energy will be advantageous to the environment, if it is a better option. So you need language more like this rather than prevailing. And then, as I said already, overwhelming also is the wrong word. Okay, so the other problem with this paragraph is that you haven't really followed the command. So it says discuss both views, and that's fine, but it also says give your opinion. It's very important to give your opinion in the introduction, because if you look at the band descriptors for task 2, under task achievement, you'll see that it says presents a clear position throughout the response. So for your position to be clear throughout, you have to make it clear from your introduction, okay? Throughout means from the beginning to the end. So even from your introduction, your position must be clear. So it's always a good idea to write the answer to this command, whatever it is, okay, in your introduction. So let's move on. There is ample evidence that supports the idea that renewable energy would save our planet from global warming, which is hazardous to us, okay? The central reason behind this is twofold. Firstly, less air pollution will be created, including carbon dioxide and other exhaust fumes. For instance, recent empirical research by the Chinese government demonstrated that in the air quality, get rid of in, that the air quality in coastal cities such as Shanghai and Guangzhou has improved by 30% since the adoption of green energy in 2017. Secondly, most of the green energy is renewable and cost-saving, whereas the natural resources are limited and the exploitation is expensive. The example of exploiting fossil fuel is evident that the valuable resource will cease to exist unless we turn for alternatives. All right, there's a problem with that sentence. Let's see. It doesn't really make sense. The example of exploiting is, I don't really understand it. I'm not really clear on what you're trying to say. Therefore, it is conclusively clear that using green energy benefits us ecologically and economically. All right, where is it clear? Because you said here that it's expensive. Okay, well then you needed to highlight that a little more. You need to extend it a little more and express the fact that, and why, that green energy is more cost effective, okay? Moving on. Okay, while the implementation of green energy worldwide is encouraged, suspicions of the threat to energy security comes together. That's awkward. What do you mean suspicion comes together? Grammatically, it's also wrong. It should be without the S, but it's not really an expression that is particularly clear. This is because some people fear that since the notion of renewable energy is still new, the facilities such as solar panels and windmills may not be fully tested and would lead to insufficient power. Okay. However, this belief is proved. The spelling here is wrong. You want VED. A study from MIT University shows the more green energy plants we have, the greater power will be produced. Consequently, it is possible to state beyond doubt that it is unnecessary to worry that green energy is a threat to energy security. Let's see. Okay. So, from the arguments and examples given, I firmly believe that the advantages of renewable energy are prominent and intuitive. These are the wrong words here. They just don't fit. They're not appropriate to this context here. Okay? Let's see, the advantages of using renewable energy are great and important, or I don't know, something along those lines. In order to protect the earth, we should approach to such energy that can be, yeah, again, approach is also the wrong word here. I'm not entirely sure what word would fit here more appropriately. In order to protect the earth, we should something to such energy. I don't know. We should move towards such energy that can be the replacement of natural. I'm not really sure. I'm really just not sure. Also, you said the replacement of natural ones. I want to remind you that all of these types of energy are natural. So fossil fuels and renewable energy are all natural, but the fossil fuels are obviously not renewable. They cannot be replenished, so it's a finite resource. But to call them natural as opposed to renewable energy is just not appropriate, okay? All right, so it's a well-constructed essay. There's a lot of great things happening here. The structure is good. You definitely developed your ideas, so all of that is wonderful. But I did find some problems with your vocabulary. All right, you have a lot of word choices that just are inappropriate throughout, and so that would most likely have an effect on your score for vocabulary, okay? And what else did I want to tell you about this? Also, don't forget what we talked about here in the beginning, where you really need to answer the question, where it says discuss with views and give your opinion. You do want to address your opinion in the introduction, okay? All right, let's take a look now at these maps. The two maps demonstrate, without the S, the comparison of the construction of the island before and comparison of the construction. Well, it's a little wordy, it's a little heavy, and it doesn't really quite sound right. So let's change it a little. How about the two maps demonstrate a comparison of an island before and after construction. I think that's a word order that would sound a little better. The island is about 250 meters long, and it is surrounded by the ocean and has a beach in the west. Okay, it is obvious to see that in the past, few sparse trees were scattered on the island. Okay, fine. After a period of time, the island has completely changed to a tourist attraction with some hotels and accommodation areas built. However, the east part of the island has partly developed. What does that mean? Has been partly developed. I wish you would get into that. I don't understand that. It is remarkable. Well, no, it's not remarkable. That's probably not the best word choice here. You could say that it should be noted that 3 tall buildings are surrounded, not they were, because this is the after picture. So are surrounded by some small houses with 6 in the west and 8 in the east, and many footpaths have been set up to link them. Not just footpaths, but vehicle paths as well. I hope you mentioned that. There is a lake in the far east side where it used to be plain. This is a wrong spelling of plain. And that doesn't really quite sound right. So there is a lake in the far east side where, which used to be empty space, essentially. As to the south coastal part, a pier has been built, giving people access to the ocean through yachts. Okay. In conclusion, the transformation of the island into a resort has brought much improvement, yet fewer trees are available compared with the past. All right. That's okay. I hesitate with the use of the word improvement. It's a little bit like a judgment call here, and I would recommend not using improvement. You could say much change, much construction. You could say that prior to construction it was a barren island, whereas now it has numerous facilities to be used as a well, we're assuming a tourist spot, but to be used by people visiting the island. Something like that would be a better idea here. Okay, so there's some good things happening here. Again, you developed. I was okay with the way you organized it. careful with your tenses. It's really important to be consistent. You could have used the past to talk about this, and then here you probably should have used present tense or present perfect would have been a better choice. So good job overall. Now go ahead and send us your next set of essays. Try to apply everything we've been talking about in this set, and we'll be waiting for them. Good luck.